Hi, Nathan. Can you please confirm if I'm audible? Yes? Anybody? Can you please confirm if I'm audible, visible? Not visible, not audible. Nathan, I will really need your help because I'm not able to figure this out. You asked me to press the green button. I did. Um, all right. So Nathan has given me the confirmation. Let's begin the session today. All right. Thank you. Finally. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a minute. All right. I'm seeing your yeses. Thank you for joining. And we'll start now. All right. So a very warm welcome to all of you. And I hope you can also see my screen. Nathan, I will just need one more confirmation from you if my screen is good and visible. It's showing you IBM Watson Cognitive Computing AutoML capabilities. Yeah, all good. Okay. All right, let's begin with today's session. So as you can see that today's session, it's a masterclass on IBM Watson Cognitive Computing AutoML capabilities. And I'm Bino Midun, and I'm from IBM. I am the community program manager and also developer advocate. So day in, day out, we talk to clients and we talk to developers like yourself. And I work very closely with them to build, solutions using IBM Cloud services and tools. And also, I am the community, so I work with the academia and different universities across the globe. So this is a little brief about me. I'm also there on LinkedIn and Twitter if you want to connect. Now, coming to the agenda for today. So we're going to look at the IBM Watson capabilities in Cloud Pak for Data and a hands-on lab on Auto AI. All right. So Auto AI is that, automated model building capability that we're going to do a hands-on today. And we're going to create and build a whole AI model. We're going to see, how you can do the testing and the deployment in a matter of minutes, maybe, 20, 30 minutes, and we'll be good. So there's a hands-on component, and I hope that, you're looking forward to that. And for the same, we're going to need few links that I'm going to share right away on chat. And there it comes to all of you. I'm not sure if it's going to go well, but let me try. I've put few links on the chat. All right. Let me show you what exactly are those links. All right. So the links that I've put on the chat, the very first link is IBM Cloud Account Creation. All right. This short link will give you access to IBM Cloud. So ideally, if you want to access IBM Cloud, you will have to swipe your credit card. But with this short link, you're going to get 30 days of free trial, and we will use that for our workshop today. So once you have this link, all you need to do is, use this link and go to a fresh, good browser and, look up what you're getting. So it will be a simple form where you have to enter email ID, make sure you're entering a strong password, and you will be ready to go. To confirm, you'll get a mail in your inbox and you'll confirm. It's a very simple process and it will take you hardly a minute to do. Now, the second, third, and the fourth links that you see here, these are the services that we're going to use on the cognitive side of things. And two of them, you can see one is used for building your machine learning model. And the machine learning service, the third link over here, is used to deploy the model. These are the two service direct links that I've given you for creating it, but you can leave it for now. Just make sure that you're creating the IBM Cloud account. So that's the first thing we all need to do. Make sure you're creating the IBM Cloud account with the short link, and the next steps we will follow during the workshop. The last link is just, it's a link which will directly download the data set that you need for the hands-on workshop. It is a credit risk CSV that I will show you just before we do the workshop. So for now, you've got all the links that you need for today. And the very first link is what you will need to create your IBM Cloud accounts, right? So the link that I've shared you, what does it help you with? So that's something I really want you to take, today. So let me show you around. So once you create your you get your email ID and you create a strong password, what you're getting is access to cloud.ibm.com that you see on my screen right now. And the top bar, this is something important. I'm going to explain you that. So you have 4 lines, these 4 horizontal lines that you see on my screen. It's called the navigation menu, and it's also called the hamburger menu, right? So any access you need to see what are the resources that you have on cloud.ibm.com, you can go from here. There are a lot of things that you can do. You can create startup kits, API management tools, OpenShift, there are Kubernetes, and a lot of things that you have here. So this is just a go-to place. When you get lost, you can click on that. Now you have a search bar here. So for example, you want to look for some service, you just enter the name and it will list down all the services that you already have as resources, or it gets you from the catalog, is where generally all services are listed, right? So like I said, catalog is the place where all these services come together. So let me show you. So on the top bar, you can see my cursor. I'm going to catalog. When I click on that, it actually brings you up this new page where you have all these services coming together. So you can see I have some 398 products available over here, right? So on the left side in this catalog page, you have different categories of services, starting with recommended products, compute, containers, networking, AI, machine learning, analytics, databases, developer tools, and all of them, IoT, etc., right? So you can choose the category of services that you're looking for and easily create. And these are different tiles that you see, right, that you can just click and create. So let me show you one that we're going to use, right? So we're going to use AI machine learning. If you go to that particular category of service, you have all these Watson services. So Watson is just nothing, but it's just a system which helps compute different things that we're looking for. So we have different kinds of Watson services, and most of them is low code, no code. So you don't need to worry about knowing a lot of coding, but of course, basic Python would be good to have, or basic R, Scala, whichever language you're familiar with in data science AI. So Watson Assistant, Watson Studio, these are different services that we have on cloud.ibm.com. And this is one tile that I'm going to take you through. So Watson Assistant is a service that helps us build chatbots, right? So if you've interacted through chatbots, through Amazon or Netflix, any other services that you've obtained, we know that there's always this customer care chatbot that we've dealt with. So you can see that you can easily build that a full conversational interface with Watson Assistant, and you should look for these labels. It is light and it's free. That means the pricing plan is free. It's your playground to work with. The next service that you see is Watson Studio. This is what is used to build your machine learning model. And this is what you're going to use today. So all your Jupyter notebooks and auto AI, everything comes in Watson Studio. Coming down, you can see there's support for natural language processing. So you have natural language understanding and natural language classification. Both of them are dealt here. There's Knowledge Studio, which actually helps you create custom AI models for your NLU, and then you can deploy that into NLU service. You have language translators. So if you want to build a universal app which can understand different languages and communicate differently in different languages, you could be doing that. So all global application support is available. Then you have machine learning. So once you build a machine learning model, you need to deploy it on cloud. And with one-click deployment, I'll show you how easily it can be done. So there's machine learning. There's speech to text, text to speech. So if you work with Alexa, Siri at your home, Echo Dot, any device, you know that there is this speech to text and then text to speech, and then in between there's this processing which happens. So all those services are available to you, and the best part is they're all available on the light plan, as you can see, right? So there's Watson Discovery, which gives you that intelligence, any search that you're looking for. So you can connect websites, you can connect box folders, you can connect different collections you can build, and then you apply Watson Discovery, and it will give you the results that you're looking for. It's basically your intelligent search engine over there. And there are different Watson services. We also have third-party service support and IBM services. So you will also find, something which is IBM and something which is not. Right? So you can see IBM is a provider in here, Bitnami is a provider. That's a third party for us. So there are different kinds of services supported. So this was around catalog that I give you a quick assumption, because whenever we use something, we need to know what exactly is that. And I thought I'll take you through this first. So that was catalog for you. And you also have documentation. So when I talk about documentation, every service in IBM Cloud is well documented, and you can explore, you can take a tour. There's different articles and tutorials for developing your application, deploying your application. There's tutorial support, everything, APIs and SDK for support, etc. Right? Now coming to support itself, right? So this is the documentation part. Now let's imagine that you're working on a service, you're building an application, something fails. What do? You can raise a support ticket, which is 24/7. So depending on the severity of your error or issue, there will be a quicker resolution. You just have to create a support ticket. So these are some things, very basic, but very, very useful, that you have on cloud.ibm.com. Now going to cloud.ibm.com, this what you see on my screen is the landing page of cloud.ibm.com. And some of you who've already created your account, you must be seeing this. So there is this dashboard where you can see what are the resources you currently have created for yourself, right? There is IBM Cloud status, which says there's no issues, so we're good to go today. There is news about what's happening on IBM Cloud. There are support tickets that you've raised that we discussed, and the usage. So if there is any billing that needs to come in, there will be a billing. So if you created some apps, and you're using different runtimes which are paid, you will see that over here. So there are different things on cloud.ibm.com. So this was a very short, quick overview, and I've explained you some of the Watson capabilities as well, right? So just remember Watson. If I talk about Watson Assistant, it's that conversational, chatbot that you're building. If I'm talking about Watson Studio, it is that build interface, where you will get to make your AI model. That's something we're going to use today. There are different Watson services. In addition, there is storage, right? So for data science projects, we generally prefer a storage where you have image files, you can store video files, all that, general formats, zip files, flat files, all of them can be stored using a cloud object storage. And this is the link that I've shared for that. Our machine learning service is the deployment service that we're going to use today, and the dataset link is something I've already shared. You can, just put the link on the browser, hit enter, and the dataset will download for you. All right, so this was a quick overview about cloud.ibm.com, and you know what you're getting. Now, to do anything on cloud.ibm.com and to build models, I told you we're going to use something called Watson Studio. So when we start working with Watson Studio, we're going to use something called Cloud Pak for Data. And I know that most of you are either you have experience, or you're just getting started in your career into data science, wherever you are. Now, data science, when I say, there are different roles, right? There are different roles that we can cater to. If you like the data engineering part, where you're trying to collect data, there is one role. There is data scientist, who are responsible to basically build that AI model. That an example we're going to do today. There's a business analyst role, who actually tries to find insights, create visualization, create story, do the storytelling, create dashboards, maybe, a nice look presented to the client. There's business analyst. Like that, there's application developers who will actually take this model and infuse it into the existing application. So there are different roles that we're going to look at today. Now, to do all of this process, what IBM did is, so IBM is an old company. There were a lot of middle tier services that were already there. It combined all of them and created this unified experience for anyone who wants to work on data and AI. Okay, so generally you have different cloud packs. For data, you have something called Cloud Pak for Data. So I know the audience. So for you, it will be Cloud Pak for Data. So this is everything that you need for enterprise data and AI. So when we talk about Jupyter Notebooks or Anaconda, I'm sure some of you worked on Anaconda or Spider or different collaboratory notebooks. The thing is, it is not enterprise, right? We have different tools. You might ask me questions, is Tableau, and there is this is that unified experience where you can do all of this from build till deployment till test in this one interface. So that whole process that we're trying to prescribe is, You first, there are these 4 steps that you can see on my screen. There is collect, there is organize, there is analyze, and there is infuse. Okay. So collect is a step where all your data comes together. So I'm sure you've heard about data lake. It is nothing but, you get all the data into one place. And from there, you do your analytics part, you do your modeling part for your machine learning or deep learning, right? So the first step is collect. And the differentiator in this, what we're going to see is there is a concept called data virtualization. Okay. So what data virtualization does is you have these different data. It could be in SQL databases. It could be in a MongoDB, which is NoSQL. It could be just files or images, right? Let them be in their own original place. You will do a virtual connection with them and get all the data. So there's no copying of data for doing your queries, but you can cache that data that, after that query, if you want to cache something, you have that. So then your analytics becomes very fast. And that's the idea behind data virtualization. Just remember, this really helps to get an idea of how it should be ideally be, right? So collect is one. The second is organized. So when you have all this data, I'm sure all of us know how sensitive personal data needs to be treated with. It needs to be masked. It needs to be encrypted. Some of that, needs to be hidden. So not only that, your data has to be very much governed. It has to be cataloged. So if it is, master data, it has to be separate. If it belongs to some department, it has to be separate. There has to be the proper cataloging of the data, and all that comes under organize. Now if I'm an employee of a company, and I've an HR, for example, I'm the HR and I want to look for an employee ID. That employee ID column name should be consistent across all the tables, right? You agree with me, right? So those kind of things, may sound very like this is basic, right? But many companies, because of the old IT architectures that they followed, this is a regular problem. So those nomenclatures have to be commonized. All that comes under organize. So I hope you've got these 2 steps. We have collect and then we have organize. The third part is, so you've got your data which was collected, it is organized, it is well cataloged, and the third part is analyze, right? So this is the most interesting one, I would say, where all the data scientist people jump in, they apply machine learning algorithm on a data which is good enough, based on, you need to get good insights, right? So for good insights, you need good information present in that data. So that is a step of analyze. Today, we're going to look at this analyze pillar. And the last one is infuse. So once your machine learning model or AI model is ready, what you're going to do is you're going to evaluate it. You're going to see if it is good for you. If it is good for you, you go for the deployment step. It's in production. Right now, think your AI models, your data was collected, it's organized, it's analyzed, and you've deployed it into production. Now comes the next challenge. So once it is in production, you're saying your accuracy is 99.9%, right? But there are a lot of things that we need to check on. So after 2 years, the whole nature of your data is going to change. When your data is changing, when that data is becoming inconsistent, it's very important we do the proper retraining or the remodeling as per the requirement and make changes, right? So who's going to tell you? There is a drift in the data. We call it drift, right? So when there's a drift in the data, you need to make sure your AI model is changing along with that. And these things, for example, your AI model, if you're thinking of a use case where in India, if you see, I can say that very less women might have applied for a loan in the last 50 years. So think of this scenario. And if you create a model with that, you put it in production, most of the women who are going to apply now will be rejected based on what machine has learned, right? So it could not be just because of the data, it could be also the bias in the history of the data. So these things have to be taken care, and that's why we have one more layer. It's called infuse, where your data, where outcome of your AI model becomes trustworthy. All your bias will be removed. It will become transparent so that you can trust the output. So tomorrow, if there is a change, you'll make the change. And tomorrow, if a customer is coming, you can actually explain to the customer that these are the factors which contributed in me rejecting your claim or rejecting the loan, right? So that's where the enterprise is headed, and that's where what we're talking about. So having said that, just few more details and I'll get into the workshop. But this is all important. We all should understand what's happening here. So we are entering an era where, of course, AI is there. Now you create an AI model. Today you like Watson. Today you create something in using Watson. Tomorrow you want to go on Google. Tomorrow you want to go on AWS platform. You are going into a multi-cloud era where there can be no vendor lock-in. So you might like something in IBM, you might like something, other tools in other clouds, or you might like something on-prem. You want to use all of that. So we are going to see an era where all of this are supported. And what we do for that is there is something called OpenShift, which will help us take this, it will make sure that for you developers, it's the same common unified and experience what you're getting. In the back end, all of these things will change. So OpenShift is nothing, it's just, it's based on Kubernetes, plus there's monitoring, plus logging, plus security, a lot of extra things, which can help you scale up, scale down. It will give you all those important things that your AI application needs, right? So it's just very basic. Then comes the 4 pillars that we discussed, and you can see there is collect, there's organize, there's analyze, and infuse, right? So this is the prescribed way that we would like you to also approach problems. Tomorrow, if you're working with a client or you're trying to work on a solution, just think, you incorporate these 4 pillars. Of course, it will be part of the problem. Think about the bias side, explainability of your AI model, and also think about, is it okay to run on any cloud? Or you create a model and you deploy it, and you don't want a vendor fix. There shouldn't be a vendor lock-in, right? So that's the era we're looking at. And with this, we're going to look at the hands-on part of the workshop today. So let me just confirm if all good with me. All of you are with me. Yes, can I have some yes on the chat, please? You're with me, and have you been able to create the IBM Cloud? If I can get some responses and we can get started. Yes, thank you, Gurudat. And let's make it very interactive because it really helps me as well and will help you as well. So we're going to do the workshop now on Cloud Pak for Data, of course, and you have created your IBM Cloud accounts. Great. So let me, because it's going to be a little intensive, so I'm going to switch off my video and let's begin. I hope my screen share is still on. Yeah. Yes. So let's begin with the workshop today. I will go back to cloud.ibm.com. You all have logged in, right? So this is, where auto AI we're going to do. So before we jump into the workshop, we all need to understand what exactly are we doing, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to build an AI model. I'm going to explain you the use case. We're going to build it, we're going to test it, and we're going to deploy the model, right? So I'm going to introduce you to something called IBM Auto AI. And like I said, it is integrated with the Watson Studio and Watson Machine Learning. So there are 2 services that we're going to use. One is to build your AI machine learning model, which is Watson Studio. And then we have Watson Machine Learning, which is used to deploy your model on the cloud itself. Both of them are free and they're available on the Light Plan in IBM Cloud. So you've got the accounts and we're good to go. Now, what does Auto AI do? So I did talk about this whole process that is usually followed for to build an AI application in production, right? Now, if you go a little more details, there are a lot of steps that comes in a data science life cycle. So as soon as you've collected your data, right, you're ingesting it into a system. Think of it. So there is ingestion, there is a lot of cleaning. We call it data pre-processing. There is transformation of the data, right? You might want to create new features. You might want to, just apply log or square root. That's called feature engineering. And then you model it with hyperparameter optimization. So don't get worried with this big word. Remember, it is hyperparameter optimization, is HPO. So what this does is every model, be it logistic regression, linear regression, SVM, gradient, any gradient boosting classifier or LGBM classifier, all these algorithms have different parameters. So it is just like we have this settings button on your system, and I'm increasing and decreasing the brightness based on my requirement. Similarly, every algorithm in machine learning have parameters that can be tuned. And when you're doing that, that is what is called the hyperparameter optimization. I'm explaining it in very simple terms, but I hope you're getting it. Just like you can increase, decrease the brightness, similarly, every model can be tweaked to make it better, and your parameters should be optimized, and hence it's called hyper parameter optimization. This will be automatically done using auto AI, right? And now once you train your model, right, the next thing is that you're going to see some visualizations, and I'm going to show you that as well. It's a very nice UI which comes up, and there will be real-time results as well. So that is there. After that, we'll do one-click deployment to Watson machine learning. I will show you that. So you can do it till the build step, and rest will follow. Now, coming to this point, why you need auto AI? Why are we even talking about this topic so much today? So, data scientist, there is a huge demand. The problem is the real skilling is little difficult. So, what companies are doing is, I'll tell you the reality. There are a lot of companies who are creating citizen data scientists. So, people who've been into application development or something else, they're actually giving them training and making them data scientists, right? And in the process, right, they become data scientists, and that's emerging. That's a trend that's emerging. Now, having said that, you can see the data scientist jobs explosion. You can see 2016, 17, 18. I don't have the stats for this year's, but you can see that there is a competition, and I will also encourage you to go to Kabel.com. This is one place where there are a lot of data science challenges and competitions, and you can earn some money as well, right? So most of them, right, they have less than 2 years of experience on machine learning models, and they're actually competing with other experienced data scientists. So what are they doing? So how do you do that? So if you have a method to build automatically machine learning models, the problem is solved. And many companies, because of this resource scarcity, they're actually looking at auto AI and solutions like this, because it will take maybe 2 weeks time to build a machine learning model. Here you are doing it in 20 minutes, right? So why from a practitioner's view? So coming up with features is difficult, it is time consuming, and it requires expert knowledge. And applied machine learning is basically feature engineering. So I will talk about this because most of us think, machine learning is the thing. You need to know all those algorithm maths, but the real time, 80% of the time goes into cleaning the data and making the data good for applying AI model. And that process is called feature engineering. And even, the great people in this field of like Andrew Ng and Xavier Knott, they've saying that one of the most important step is feature engineering. It's not essential. It is basically essential. It is difficult and it is costly. Now, what is feature engineering? Suppose you have some data, you will transform that data such that you will see if you can create new features with the existing columns. And that whole process is called feature engineering. You will modify some columns, you will exclude, include, you can do many things, and just make sure whatever data you're feeding in to the algorithm is the best data, right? So this is one important point. Advantage of auto AI is it will automatically do all this for you. So it will start with the CSV that you've given, the raw labeled data set. It does the traditional, so it will do the supervised machine learning models for you today. They're doing the data preparation like pre-processing, imputation, encoding, scaling strategies. It will find the top K algorithms. And based on these algorithms, like I said, it will do hyperparameter optimization on the selected algorithm. Once your algorithm is good, it will again go for feature engineering. It says something, create the best data transformation sequence, or second round of HPO2 and ensembling. That is getting everything together. So this is the backend process that auto AI does. So, it's a very interesting UI. The only two steps that you need to do is upload a data set. So like this is a telco customer churn data set. You need to upload a data set. And the second step is you need to select the prediction column, right? As soon as you do this, select the prediction column and you click on run experiment, this is all you need to do. A nice UI like this will come up. and this UI has, all the steps that we discussed, right? So this is the UI that comes up, and then you can see there's a pipeline leaderboard also, right? And in this leaderboard, it will give you a star against, which is the best performing AI model based on the accuracy and build time, etc. And what are the enhancements? What is the performance? So there are two rounds of HPOs, that is hyperparameter optimization and feature engineering, which applied, and you got pretty good, accuracy here. So this is a brief about auto AI. I hope you've got the idea that we're looking for. I have shared all of the details that you need, and let's get started. Okay, so I hope all of you have, got your accounts created and you are on this page. All right. So, so this whole aim of creating, AI for AI, that's when IBM actually introduced this auto AI concept. So it's AI for AI, and even data scientists, those people are using this because it makes their life easy as well, right? So it's not just for the people who are starting off, it's also used by the data scientists in the company to save time and to just make sure if they have to do some changes later, they can do that. So they can actually select the best algorithm based on the data. So it's a very simple process. What we need to do is go to the catalog, okay, and create the Watson Studio service first. So I've already given you the direct link to create Watson Studio. It's okay if you don't have that. You can just go to AI machine learning and create and look for Watson Studio. So this is the tile, and you can create a Watson Studio service. It's very easy. As soon as you click on the tile, you can see, it's a light plan and it's free pricing. And you can click on, I have read and agreed to the following license agreements, and you can click on create, right? So you can see that the service name is Watson Studio U4. For you, it might be different. That's absolutely fine. The resource group is, where your service belongs to. And by default, for all of us, you will see a resource group of default. So I'm going to stay on this page for 10 seconds because if you're doing it with me, you need to see my screen and then replicate. We'll take it slow. So just let me know once you're good, and we can continue from here. So this is the first service that you need to create. I've also shared you the link for object storage and machine learning service. It's a similar screen that you'll see. Just make sure you have all the three service: Watson Studio, Cloud Object Storage, and machine learning. This also I will just put on the chat if you don't have it already. This is for Watson Studio. So once you create all of these service, we can actually continue from here. All right, so I'm just going to give these three links to you again on chat. You have to make sure one thing. You need to make sure one thing is there is a location for machine learning and Watson Studio. So for me, it is Dallas. Make sure for all of you also this location between Watson Studio and the machine learning service is the same. So I'm just going to put it on chat as well. Make sure that Watson Studio, all right, and your machine learning service belongs to the same location. All right. So once you do this and also create the cloud object storage link above, we are ready to go. Let's just pause for a moment and you take your time to build this, and then we'll go with the next step. Okay. Okay, Sudhir is asking me how to change Asia once it is created. It's a good question, Sudhir, and it will help others as well. So, if you want to see, what are the services that you've created, I've told you, you can go to this four lines over here on the top left corner. It is called the navigation menu. Okay, so all your existing services will be present in something called resource list. So just click on resource list. When you click on resource list, it will actually list down all the services that's available to you. So for example, if you don't want to create in Asia, you want to create in Dallas, or even if it is Asia, just make sure your machine learning is also Asia. It doesn't matter. So if you want to delete it, you have these three lines against the service. You can click that and click on delete, and your service will be deleted. Just make sure you're not creating the wrong one. Once you click, delete this one, go to that fresh link and change the location to the region that you're looking for, and it will be done. Okay, the video quality is looking blur. Manpreet, I think. Okay, Manpreet, can you still confirm? Is it this my cloud.ibm.com? Because is it better now? I've increased the brightness. Yes. Okay. Manpreet, from you also, if I can get a response. Okay. So I hope you all have created, your services. Can I get some yeses that you've already done this? No, ma'am. All right. It's kind of, ma'am, the video is kind of blurred. No, this is not recorded. This is live. Can Nathan please help me with this? They're saying the video is, wait, okay. I'm just going to pause here. If you could also communicate. Is it starting now? Because for me, the network sounds good. Everything is good for me. It's blur. Nathan, any resolutions? Are you also seeing it blur? Because I'm. I need to confirm that. Nathan, you there? Oh, is it Manpreet? That's so sad. It may be, I mean, usually, when I do, live sessions, it should be fine. So maybe if Nathan can come in, is it because of Webinar Jam or something else? Or is it usually when have you seen this before? Okay, Mahati asked a very good question. I'm going back. So she asked me, how do we check if it is the same location? So Mahati, good question. What you can do is go to the resource list, like I showed you, go to this top left corner, four lines, and click on resource list, and that will bring you to this page. In that page, look for services and software. So all the three services that you've created, your cloud object storage, Watson Studio, and all will be here. So you can see there's Watson Studio and there will be machine learning service. Make sure this location is the same. So for me, most of them is Dallas. For you also, that location should be same. And cloud object storage that you created will be a global location. There's no particular location. All your files go into the same location. So in storage, you will be able to see global. Forget about global, that's fine. Look for Watson Studio and machine learning service in services and software. Oh yes, yes, you do get medals. There's bronze in all medals. Of course, we need to do well, but do register, Ali. If you're interested, you should go for it. There's a very, I mean, people get so motivated, and you can start small. So there's a Titanic problem that you might want to go with, and then it's a long journey. It's a long journey. So there are people who are, I've heard, it's huge that people see that they go really high after they start competing there. All right, I'm seeing one more question. ML is not reflecting. Partha, can you please clarify your question once more? ML is not reflecting. Partha, if you can hear me. Is showing as London. Okay. So you're saying machine learning is not coming up here. So do you see something like this? So you can just look at the product name. So you can see there is Watson Studio and the product name will show you machine learning. Look for the product name. There will be two services that you've created. Do you see the product name, machine learning? Yes. Partha, do you see the product name? If not, I'm going to share you the link again and you can create this service once more. This is the direct link for creating, machine learning service. This is Partha. I hope this helps. All right. So by now you should all see in your resource list, that your services are good. It's created. What is the correct location? So that's a good question. You don't have a correct location as such. You can just go for Dallas, London, anything that you're seeing. Done. Great. Sudhir is done. Can I have some more duns, please? And then we'll start. Mine is both Tokyo. That's absolutely perfect. So most of my clients are in Tokyo and APAC region. So yes, Tokyo is the region then. No problem. All right, so we all are good. We have the three services. First, we have the storage, which is cloud object storage ready. We have the machine learning service. So just look at the product name. You have machine learning and you also have Watson Studio. So the next step that we need is make sure you've downloaded the data set, which is the last link that I have shared on, this data set. Now, how does this work? So let me show you. I'm going to put this also on chat and then I'm going to show you what is this data set all about, right? So just hold on, I'll show you where is the cloud object storage. Where can I find cloud object storage? I'll give you the direct link or you can look for it in storage or just type it somewhere and you'll be, in the search bar and you will be able to get it, or just use this link that I've shared on chat, cloud.ibm.com. I'll just put it on chat as well. All right. Now let's go and see the data set. Yes, the data set is in the CSV format. So once it's downloaded for you, let me show you what is the data set like. All right, so this is the link that I'm talking about. You take the link. So all of you might have already done that. I'm just going to show you how you're going to do that. As soon as you hit the link on the browser, you see that there is a German credit risk CSV that opens up. You've downloaded the link. Make sure you save it on your local file directory system. And I'm going to show you how we're going to save it in Cloud Object Storage and how we're going to implement this project. All right, so this is the CSV that I've shared with you. And let me explain you this use case that we are going to work with. Okay, so the use case that we're going to work with today is a credit risk use case where we have some demographics data about people, their payment details, their banking details, and we're trying to predict, giving loan to this customer, is it high risk or is it no risk, right? So is there a risk involved in, giving this loan or not? If there is no risk, it's a great thing. You can go ahead. That's what all banks wants to do, right? So there's no risk and there's risk. We all know that these are two classes. So if there are two classes, we know it is a binary classification problem. Why? Because classification problems are those, where you can put the outcomes into different buckets. And hence, this is a classification problem. And since there are exactly two buckets that we're talking about, risk and no risk, it's going to be a binary classification problem. So in Auto AI, we have a lot of classification algorithms which are already fed into, and it's configured such that it will choose the best classification algorithm to solve this problem. So let's just go through the input features. We call them features, which you see on my screen, and I'll just make it larger. So you can see there is checking status, it's loan duration. What is the duration of the loan? Credit history, is all the credits paid till date? Are there any payments delaying, that this person has gone through? What is the loan purpose? Is it, for a car? Is it for education, etc.? What is the loan purpose? What is the loan amount, that it's applied for? How much is the existing savings? Then the employee duration. You have the installment percentage. So many factors that go into contributing. And the column that we're trying to predict here is risk. And this is what we need to remember. So I hope you're with me. You've got the use case. We're simply trying to take these input features and it's a binary classification problem that we're trying to deal with. Okay. So you can leave that CSV on your local file system and I'll show you how we're going to go about it. All right. So the very first step is I want all of you to go to Watson Studio. If you already have a Watson Studio, please go to resource list and get it. This is the page that all of you should be on, right? This is the page that I want you all on. So here what we're going to do is we're going to create a project and an auto AI instance. So you're with me on this. Click on launch IBM Cloud Pak for Data. So this is, that I just talked about. And please click on this blue button that you see on the page, right? I'm just going to see some chat. Yes. All right. These are attributes as well. I understand that's perfectly fine. That is the right one. Attributes you call features. You can even call them input columns. Anything which is going to feed into the machine to help it understand how a decision would be taken. Yes. So that is that. Let me again go and open another Watson Studio service. It's saying it's 500. I need to check this. Yes, it's coming up. So you can see that's provisioning IBM Watson Studio core services for me. And you would see a similar page. If you don't see a similar page, if you're doing a first-time user, it's absolutely fine. Just click on continue and you will see this coming. Whatever page you're in, make sure you should see this. If there is any other page coming, just proceed, just continue, and you'll be able to come on this page. All right, no problem. I'll be as slow as possible. So this is Cloud Pak for Data. Let's do it together. It's asking for company name and phone number. All right, that's a lot of questions. Srinivas Reddy, if I can, if you could just go beyond that, is it an option or it's really asking you? Asking for company name, mobile number. If you want to fill in, do, or you just say continue if you have that option. Vishal, for you also. Let's just continue and reach Cloud Pak for Data. I'm just going to pause here. Sudhir, for you also, if you're seeing such, okay, Partha, if you would want to enter your company name, or if you say you're a student, that's also fine. Anything is fine. If you're a student, please say so, or if you don't want to fill organization, Srinivas Reddy, great, no problem. Just continue and we'll be there. It's just that, if you like the product, it's skipped. Amazing. Yes, great. It's just, we want to get started. And ultimately, you should be on this page. It's called IBM Cloud Pak for Data. Just make sure you're seeing this screen. Eventually, you will say welcome and your name, etc. You should see that page. So Sudhir, I think you've reached. Anybody else who's seeing Cloud Pak for Data, IBM Cloud Pak for Data? We'll give it a minute. Okay, for Mahati, I say just give your company name or just give, if you don't want to, and you can just proceed. Done. All right. Okay, can I continue, please? Mahati, if you're done, if you're good, can I continue? Okay. I can see there are 27 people. I really hope that, you're having some hands-on experience because I totally understand. Otherwise, doing these virtual sessions can be like, you really want to do something, right? So yes, you all are there. Thank you. It really helps me and it will help you as well for sure. All right. So all of you are on IBM Cloud Pak for Data and you're seeing this page. There is this again, this navigation menu over here. This is that unified experience that I was talking about. Okay. So what I want you to do is under the project section, there's a drop down for projects, right? Click on all projects. Just click on view all projects. So I'll show you again how I went. There are 4 lines. This is called navigation menu. There is projects. Click on view all projects, right? Click on view all projects. It will actually show you all projects you've worked on and the new, how you can develop new one as well, right? Now what you do next is you want to create a new project. There is a new project button on the right, on the top right. My cursor is pointing to that. You can see my cursor is pointing here. It's new project, right? You can click on new project. Okay, and I'll just keep checking chat, showing no projects. No problem, that's absolutely fine. I do have projects, that's the reason. So you can click on new project Partha. You can see new project plus. Please click on that. And you can see there are 2 options. One is create an empty project and the other is create a project from sample of file. We want to go for create an empty project, the first one. Please choose the first one. The first option that you see, create an empty project. Once you click on that tile, you will see, a new project page opens up and you can give it a name. For example, this is, a credit risk use case. So we say credit risk. And there is an optional description for the project. You can click on create if you want to. And before that, you see that there is a storage called Cloud Object Storage. So all of us had created Cloud Object Storage, and that name will be appearing here. This -etc could be different for you. That's absolutely fine. So you've given it a name, you have an optional description, and you're seeing a storage. That's it. And we are going to click on create. So this is how you're going to create any data science project on Watson Studio, on Cloud Pak for Data. Right? So I hope you can see you're with me, did. All right. So you click on create and it will open up a whole project landing page. All right. Let's just give it a minute so that all of us are catching up. We all have downloaded the German credit data.csv data set. I had shared you the link. And the next step is you upload this data set to the analytics project. For that, let's close the store first. Okay. What we're going to do is, okay, relaunch. This is for later. So okay, please close all that, skip all those stores that come in. That's absolutely fine. I'll take you through this. So this is the project landing page in Cloud Pak for Data. So if you want to collaborate, you can see there's only one me right now. You can invite team members through cloud.ibm.com into this project. All that is possible, going to settings and actually inviting them. All that is possible. I'll show you. How you can do all that. So going back to the overview page, right now there are 0 bytes used in this Cloud Object Storage from this project. And there is a second tab called Assets. Okay. In this Assets tab, this is where you will upload your data set. How do you do that? On the right side, there is a data tab that opened up. And then there is a browse option. And then there's a drop files here option. So you can actually browse. And you can, it takes you to the local file system. And then you can just, select the file that you want to upload. I'll show you once more. On the right side, there is data tab. Click on browse, and it will actually help you select the CSV file that was downloaded. Please click on open, and that CSV file will be uploaded to the Cloud Object Storage that we talked about some time back. So this is actually going to the cloud state, and in few seconds, it is already done, right? So this is how easy it can get. Your data is uploaded onto the cloud. I hope you're with me. Okay, I'll repeat again, Neha. What we did is, I hope you all are on this project page. How did we do that? On the main Cloud Pack for Data page, you went to this 4 lines navigation menu. You went to projects, you clicked on view all projects. Once you went there, there was a new project plus button. You clicked on that. You chose the first option, create an empty project. Clicked on that. You entered a name. The description is absolutely optional. You saw there is a storage connected, and you clicked on create. That's all. Once it comes up, you will see the overview page. The next tab is the assets page. This is where you need to go. This is where all your data set, your machine learning model comes up. In this assets page, on the right side, you see a data tab. In the data tab, there is a browse option, or you can just drag and drop files. I would, suggest you go for the browse option. It's much, you will understand what exactly is being pulled in. You click on browse, it takes you to the local file directory. From there, you can click on the file that you want and it gets uploaded automatically. So this is the option that we're talking about. And if you don't see this data, this one, the 0100, this is where you need to go. You can click on that and you'll see this data tab opening up. So I hope that was helpful. And your data set is uploaded. This is German credit data. Oh, there are a lot of file formats. Even your zip folders can be uploaded. Good question, Sudhir. So image files, video files, Neha, you're not getting this. I'm not getting this project. You're not getting this project. That's absolutely fine. There's another way you can do it. Just give me a minute. I'll show you guys. There's another way that we can do. And what I'll do is I'll quickly go to services and I'll show you what is the other way to do it. Okay. So for all of you who are on assets page, please keep it there. I'm showing you another way that if you're not seeing projects, how to go about it. Okay. This is for Neha. Since you're not seeing projects here, the other option that you have is there is a create a project link on my screen. I'm pointing to that. Do you see a create a project from the main page of Cloud Pack for Data on your screen? Neha? Done? Okay, I'm waiting for her. Let's just go together. For this for her, if you guys don't see the project option, there's a create a project from the main dashboard itself. You can do that. And it will take you to the same empty project in this page, right? So this is for Neha. That's fine. I've given her the option. Maybe she'll be back soon. And this, if it's recorded for you, you will be able to see this later as well. So let me go back to the credit risk project, and we will actually create the auto experiment, and you can follow up on this later, right? So it's absolutely fine. Let's move on. Now we're going to add, to this project, something called an auto AI experiment. So all of you with me, there is a blue button on this page. It's called Add to Project Plus. When you click on that, you will see a lot of options coming up. A Jupyter Notebook, data, connection, connected data. Please choose Auto AI Experiment. Please choose Auto AI Experiment. Similar fashion, we're going to click on Auto AI Experiment from Add to Project Plus. And similarly, we're going to give it a name, say credit, say credit risk, right? And we're doing auto AI, so you can say auto AI or just leave it to credit risk as you wish, right? This description is again optional. This is the first time you're doing auto AI, so maybe you say version 1 of auto AI experiment for credit risk or anything meaningful. Now here on the right side, so once you've given it a name, there is a defined configuration. Okay. Once you give it a name, okay, again, you say my screen is blurred. That's absolutely fine. Is it only sometimes it happens, or Akhil, are you seeing it continuously blurred? Because this is, I'm doing my best and my network says it's pretty stable here. So I don't know what's the option for that. So let's just continue because that's maybe, it's something with the platform. If Nathan, you want to come here and help them. All right. I will have to continue because I really want you to show the UI going. But if I find a video, if I could record something for you and send it over, nothing like that, I'll try and find something like that to help you guys as well. Okay. So let's continue. Akhil, maybe you could just watch this blur screen, but I assure you I'll give you high definition, good video later. All right. Coming back, there is a link which says associate a machine learning service instance. Now, this is where you need to click, right? You have already created a machine learning service with the same location. You need to make sure you're checking on that. So you can see there's machine learning for Y for me. Maybe you see only one service. Just click, just check mark on that machine learning service, and I'll tell you the next step. So as soon as you click on associate machine learning service, this is the page that opens up. You click on the machine learning service name and you click on associate service. That's all. Okay, I'm going to repeat. You click on associate machine learning service. You check mark on the machine learning service with the same name, the same location, and you click on associate service over here, associate service plus. As soon as you do that, you come back here and you click on reload. So it's like a refresh, and it's identified the machine learning 4Y that I just checked on. So you can see in that in the configuration, now you can see the Watson machine learning service instance is machine learning 4Y, right? So I hope you all have got it. And the compute configuration is 8 CPUs and 32 GB RAM. That's absolutely good for us. And we will click on create. So you can click on create and your auto AI experiment will get started, right? So I hope you all have done this step. It was clear. All right. Thank you, guys. I have really no other option. Continuously blurred. I get it. It's so crazy, but we'll have to move here right now. So we've given it a name. We've chosen the configuration that we wanted, and we're going to click on create, right? So once we click on create, right, the whole auto AI experiment is going to get started. So we're going to, we don't have to do any configuration, but I'll still show you if you want to do something with your data set before you go ahead, you can do that, right? So you can support multiple sources as well in Auto AI. But right now, what we're going to do is select from project. So we've already added the data set to the project. You remember that you had browsed and uploaded into your project. Click on select from project. I'll go a little slow here. So all we've done is created an auto AI experiment. And the next step is we're going to get this data set from the project. So this is the option that we're going to go for, right? I hope you're with me. I'm just confirming here. Clear, ma'am. Great. So you all are with me. Ricky, you lost track from associate service. So when you associate service, you come back and you click on reload. There must be a reload button, Ricky. If you're seeing a reload button, when you go for associating a service, make sure you choose the machine learning service of the same location. And by default, it will show you one machine learning service. Just select that and click on associate machine learning on the top. There would be a blue button. Just select, and this blue button means the next step usually. So you know what you're selecting. So now the two services will be associated. If you're seeing that option. I got TU instead of 4Y. Hi. Oh, that's great. So the names could be different, but yeah, this is too much of coincidence. So getting back, we are seeing data sources that needs to be added. We click on select from project, and then you see that there is a data asset here. We click on that. You select German credit data, that CSV that we downloaded and uploaded to the cloud. You select that, and then there is a blue button again which says select asset. This is all. I'm going to keep this page on so that we are clear with what we're doing. And you've just selected the data asset, and it is going to be tagged on to this auto AI experiment. All right. So I hope you're with me, and some of you at least are able to do that. No problem, Ricky. I hope I'll share you the steps as well on how you can follow. So please click on select asset, and your auto AI will make you actually, show you all the columns that you have. So it's actually identified there are 21 columns and it's giving you the size of the data set. The next thing it's asking is create a time series forecast. For now, no, we don't need a time series forecast. The only question you need to answer is, what do you want to predict? And what do you want to predict? You want to predict the risk, right? So there is a last column. So there is a drop down. Please click on the drop down, and the last column that you see is risk. Please select that. We know that it is a binary classification problem, and you can see on your pages as well, it's actually showing the prediction type is binary classification. And then you just click on run experiment. In case you want to change any experiment settings in future, look and please explore these experiment settings, the gray button on the left side. For now, we will go with the run experiment button. Okay, so you all are with me. I'm going to stay on this page. Please fill in. Yes, great. So what you need to do is, yes, you need to select the column which you're trying to predict. And for us, it is the risk column. That is the label column. We call it the label. And that's risk. We select that. And I told you there are exactly two classes. So it's a binary classification problem. And you just, it's identified no risk as a positive class, which is very positive. That means, you can go ahead and give the loan to this person. And you click on run experiment. So all of us are going to click on run experiment, and that beautiful, awesome UI is going to come up on your screens. And that's the best part of it, right? So you're going to see how all these steps that you usually talk about in any data science project, you can see the grains coming up on my screen. It's actually, it's checking out, trying to understand the data that you just fed in. It's basically doing the analysis part. Once it does this, let's see what's its next step. All right. So I hope you also want to see something similar on your screens as well. And I'm going to explain you this whole, what goes on. So the next step is, once it's analyzed the data, is it actually divides the data into training data and test data, which we also call the holdout data, which is 90-10%. And once it divides that data, the next step is it actually starts selecting the algorithms, which are the best evaluators for your data. We also call it the estimator. Sorry, you can see that it's actually selecting algorithms. In Auto AI, if you read somewhere, you might see estimators. They both are the same. It's actually chosen the best algorithm that, two algorithms that might work. For each algorithm, there are a few steps it's going to do. And you'll see how quickly this AI model is going to be created for you, right? You can see there are top algorithms that are chosen. This third pipeline is running. And there is a star against the best pipeline till now. Right now, it is pipeline 2, which is, ranking 1. So there is a star against that. And like this, there will be 8 pipelines that are generated. And I can explain you that in some time. Now, this is one view that you get. There is also another view. So if you want to swap the view, on the right side, you can see there's a swap view. You can click on that, and it will actually show you all the details of, how these pipelines work. So the very first pipeline, it's using XGB classifier, just the model. There's nothing else done. It just gets the data, pre-processing, and the splitting and all that, and it just applies the algorithm. This is pipeline 1. Now in pipeline 2, what's add is the first HPO, right? So you can see hyperparameter optimization. One level is added. So your algorithm will run, then the parameters will be optimized for this algorithm. And there is this pipeline 2. There is a pipeline 3, which says your model will run, HPO, which is hyperparameter optimization, runs on this algorithm. And then there is feature engineering applied. Are there any new features that you can create to make your AI model better? And you can see right now the P3 is the top performing algorithm. So this, what you did, this algorithm of XGB classifier, HPO, and feature engineering is giving you a very good model, right? Then there is a P4, which says the second level of hyperparameters optimization is applied on this, and that is P4. So this is called ensembling. This is a pipeline that you see that's being created, right? Similarly, the other algorithm that was chosen was LGBM classifier. So you have P5, which is this, LGBM just applied. You have HPO1, which is P6. This is HPO1 plus feature engineering, which is P7, HPO1, FE, and HPO2, which is P8. So these are the 8 pipelines that you will see, right? Now, if I go back to swap view, you can see that all the 8 pipelines are almost done. You can see it's just, I think the last pipeline is getting ready. It says it's finishing up. You can see it's finishing up. It's almost close to the end. This is like in minutes, it's actually created me 8 pipelines, and the experiment is completed. The time that it took was 3 minutes. Please note, the time elapsed was 3 minutes, which is amazing. And you get all 8 algorithms, and the 8 pipelines that ran. Now let's come to this pipeline leaderboard. I'm sure for all of you, all right, for Vishal, it's not, not able to see the screen, but that's, I'm so sorry. I don't know why this is like that, because for me, I can see my screen absolutely clear. Nathan will have to comment on this. All right. So coming back to the pipeline leaderboard, you can see that pipeline 3, there is a star against that. We call it the top performing pipeline. The algorithm that it's used is XGB classifier. The accuracy, it did all those k-fold, cross-validation, everything. There were 3 folds that were used. It's 0.775. If you're not satisfied, you can start your experiment again by tweaking some settings. Like I showed you, there's a gray button, which you can experiment settings. This is the enhancements that were applied, HPO1 and the feature engineering. And the build time was hardly 27 seconds for this one. This is not all. The bonus is you also get the code that ran behind this pipeline. And that's the best part of this. There is a save as this blue button that you see. You click on that, and you can see there are 2 things that you can do. You can save the model, and you can also save the notebook, right? So this is amazing. You can save the model, and you can also save the notebook. Right now, I'm going to do both, because if you want to see the deploy part, we'll choose the model first. So it's chosen the best pipeline, which is P3, and it will just click on create, and the model gets saved. So at this step, you need not do. This is something just for your reference. If you want to save the model, how do you go ahead? There is a blue button, which is against each pipeline. When you click on save as, there is 2 options. You can also save the notebook. It will again store on the assets page of your project. You click on create, your Jupyter notebook is getting saved into your project. All right, so this is something really, really interesting. And once you are good here, you can go back to the project and do the rest. Now, before I leave Auto AI, I really want to show you a lot of other things as data scientists that you might be interested in. Here's something called pipeline comparison. So between P1, P2, P3 till P8, what are the different, cross validation scores? What has been, what is the log loss? What's the F1 score, ROC, AUC? And if you want to go on details, you want to see what is this pipeline like, you can also just click on the row, and you will see all this confusion metrics, the model evaluation, the precision recall, everything that you've learned, and all that comes with good visualizations over here, right? And we talked about a concept called feature engineering, right? This feature engineering is a concept where new features, so you can see the most improved new feature 2 is created. And what it did is it took loan amount, which is one of the feature. It also took the age, and it multiplied. It just did the product function to these 2 column elements and created a new feature. And you can see the feature importance. You can see why an outcome is something. You can see the explainability of part, things coming out. 39%, this contributed to 39% weight of the outcome on the deciding factors. So these are the top deciding factors. What is the current resident location, etc. If you want to improve the model, you can start again. You can look at the experiment settings. And, if you want to participate in Kaggle competitions, you want to do anything, this for sure is going to help you a lot, right? So this is, even if you're just getting started to explore these things, because I told you, we are entering a multi-cloud era where there is no vendor lock-in. We are also entering an era where these AI is going to be productized. Everything is going to be automated. There's a lot of automation that's happening today. So please do keep a good watch on what's happening today in the enterprise, right? Now, now you can stop here. You can just look at my screen. I know it's barely visible for you, 480, but we have to go ahead. Now I'm going to go back to the project. If you want to go back to the project, you can go back to the project. Just go back one step before. You can go to credit risk, or you can do using navigation menu. You can see credit risk over here. So I'm just going to go back one step, and you can see that the project that I had saved, it comes back over here. So there is a notebook. You can explore the notebook that you have saved, and then there is below that there is also Watson machine learning model, the credit risk auto AI classifier that you see. There are three dots against it. I want you to click that, or even if you're just watching, it's absolutely fine. I'll show you how you're going to deploy this. We click on promote. When you do a promote, it's actually taking you to a deployment space. So I'm just going to look on telco customer churn new. This is an existing space for deployment that I have. Or if you want to create a new deployment space, you just have to click on create a new deployment space and go ahead. But it's just a one-click deployment that I'm showing, because this deployment process could be very intensive, and for us data scientists it becomes very tough, right? So it's just a deployment space that you need to select, or just create one and add tags on what exactly is the machine learning trying to do. That would help you identify what is a deployment all about. And you click on promote. When you do promote, it actually takes this AI model into something called a deployment space. Okay, I hope you're getting it. Okay, I'm assuming this is all good. And okay, don't worry. So once we promote it, goes to the deployment space. We go to the deployment space, and from there, you can actually deploy this AI model. So this is the P3, the maybe skip, maybe later. And you see that there is a P3 XGV classifier, which is the model that we just promoted. We click on that, right, the model name, and you will click on deployment. So you have to create a deployment. You don't need to follow this. I'm just showing you how easy it gets. It's a new deployment. You give a similar name. Make sure you're choosing the deployment type is online. So if you're creating AI applications which needs to give the outcome in real time, that's when you go for online. And when you need to create an AI application which can go in a batch process, you need an outcome the right timing and a fixed timing. That's when you go for a batch process. Now we're going to go for an online deployment type. We give it a name. This is not telco customer churn. This is actually credit risk. Please make sure the names are meaningful, and you can apply tags if you want, and just make sure that it's giving a name. There is a serving name description. This is all optional. So if there is nothing, this is all good. Then you can click on create, right? So you're actually creating a deployment here. And you can see it's in progress on my screen. In some time, this will be deployed. And that's how easy the deployment process is. So everything is automated. And in the end, you will actually get an endpoint that you can infuse into your existing application, which you can use it later. You will also get a code if you're using a JavaScript application, you want to infuse into that. There's a small code snippet that you will get that you can include it, to run your AI model as well. So there are a lot of things that we can do here. So I'll just give it a minute while the deployment is in progress. Okay, Partha, that's absolutely fine. This deployment is absolutely optional, but I really hope that you got the build process. The build process is very important. From the project, you have to go and promote your model into a deployment space. In that deployment space, that is where you are, right? You see the deployments over here. In that deployment space is where you actually deploy. So just one step later, it's very easy to go about this, nothing to worry. It is all recorded for you and you will be able to follow. Now, once you can see the status is green, it is deployed. I'm showing you the testing part. So you guys have done the build part and that is good for today. This will be too overwhelming if you try doing deploying and testing as well. I'll just show you quickly what you're getting here, right? So when you click on this name, you will actually see what you can do with this deployment. So you're seeing a direct link. This is the endpoint link which you can embed into your code. If your application is using Java and you build an AI model, how do you fit in this model into a Java code, into a JavaScript code, in a Python code, right? So these are the things that you need. If it is a Scala runtime that you're using, how do you do that, right? There's also a test tab where you can enter some details, checking status, loan duration, credit history, and actually test your data as well. So I'm just going to enter some very, very random, uh, to say something. Okay, it's saying 25 should be the credits count. How many credits do you have? Something. I'm just going to fill in some random 30 days is what I'm adding. Suppose installment percentage is 20, and I say just add to list. So you can say I hardly give anything. If there are missing values, it will decide should it take mean and median based on the distribution, or it will remove it as such, right? And if you click on predict, you can actually see the result live. This is just one option that you're getting. This is how you can test your model right on the UI. Or there's also another option that you can actually use a JSON as an input. If there's a long rows that you want to test with, this one form data will not help. You need JSON data. That option is also available to you, so you can go for this provide input data as JSON. So today you saw, like, matter of minutes, how you can build your model. You've seen that auto AI experiment, how it runs, how you can actually deploy it from there itself, and just few clicks that you need to do. But my I want you to focus on is, what are the use cases that you can apply, where traditional machine learning models, your classification models, your regression models can use auto AI to solve the problem. All right, so that is something I wanted to share. And I am actually going to stop share, and I'm just going to check the chat. um, Yes, so Srinivas Reddy, very good question. Can you please? Yes, we can deploy with Node-RED in IBM. So Node-RED, for all of you, is Node-RED is another application. So we have Node-RED web application, which is a virtual editor tool. It's like an IDE where you can actually drag and drop, these different services. It could be Watson services, any hardware devices, APIs, and you can connect all of them. So Srinivas Reddy has a good question. Yes, you can deploy it with Node-RED application itself. So you'll have to configure, you'll have to drag and drop Watson Studio and then configure it. So I'm opening up for questions now. And, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I'm going to spend some time on, questions till 6:45. So I hope some of you have been able to build your AI model. Anybody there who was happy seeing the UI, this is something nice, because it's when I talk to developers, they really have no idea. First, we'll send the video. I Yes. Just let me look for something. Just hold on my GitHub. All right. Yes, you have it. So I'm going to share you, Akhil. This is for Akhil and for everyone, who have not been able to see the screen so well. Oh, thank you, Sravani. Easy and fast. Thank you so much. And I've just shared a link. It's my GitHub link. So if you want to see the video, there is an MP4 that's uploaded over there, and it may be a little rough, but I'm sure you'll get the idea of what we're talking about today. Okay, so that's for you. Steps on deployment, please. Yes, I will look for something. Just give me. Right. You know what I can do is, if you could also refer to the MP4, because I have actually recorded the deploy side as well, if that helps you. Yes, it has. Yes, it does have. So please look up, the link that I've just shared. It's a GitHub link. You could actually look into, that video that I have, and it will give you all the, steps on how you can actually implement this. All the best to all of you who are planning to do some kagling there. Oh yes, Kana, it's really, really fast, and I get so excited when I have to talk about this, because how, it's just that we didn't know about this, and this has been there for 2 years. It's been growing, and some of the other features are getting added every day. So we'll be in touch, and if you want to connect, I'll share my LinkedIn ID, and I'm also sharing my Twitter ID. Yes. Okay. Thank you. I really hope you all could gain something out of this. It's evening, and I totally respect time. So if you want to have time for yourself, we're going to give you a few minutes back. If you want to take rest, and we've covered a lot. I'm sure that you all have gained a lot today if you've been there, right? So any other questions? Is there something? Okay, let me share you one more thing. It's going to help you guys into, if you want to do SPSs, if you guys want to go beyond this, this is one link that I'm going to share. And this is a complete guide to Cloud Pak for Data that we just talked about today. All right. So let me do this. I've shared you a link. Okay. This link has everything that you need to get started on Cloud Pak for Data. Everything, right? So if you're looking for something, it has all the tutorials that you need. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Nathan, what do you say? Because I don't see any questions coming up. Are we good to close? It's 5 minutes. You get your time back for the day. Let me know. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your time. Nathan, can you? Thank you so much. I'm not sure how we close this. Okay, so there are questions. If I want project on a prior algorithm, can we do it here? Oh, that's a good question. Let me show you what are the algorithms that's actually supported. So just for you, this is for Sudhir. So maybe I missed the Q&A side. You can see my screen. Quickly, I'll give you what are the algorithms. So today, we have different algorithms that are supported where, the auto AI can actually take up, and based on these different estimators, it can, depending on the data that you're given, it will choose one of these classification models. And every day new models are getting added as well. So maybe not the model that you asked for, but yes, something is always in progress, right? So that is for you. If I want project on that, we've answered. Is this class recorded? Not sure. Is this class recorded? Yes, I think we are good for now. And thank you so much. All right. I would like to, Nathan, if you can guide me on how do we close the session for today, because I see people are waiting for that. Thank you so much. Nathan, you're there? Bye. All right. I think I'm going to close the session for today. I'm going to click on end call, and I guess that will help us. All right. So meet you again. Bye bye. Great. Have a great evening, and not sure, great day ahead for all of you. Thank you.